Yes, indeed. It is called Lothric, where the transitory lands of the Lords of Cinder converge. In venturing north, the pilgrims discover the truth of the old words. The fire fades, and the lords go without thrones. When the link of fire is threatened, the bell tolls, unearthing the old lords of Cinder from their graves. Aldrich, Saint of the Deep. Farron's Undead Legion, the Abyss Watchers. And the reclusive lord of the profaned capital. Yon the Giant. Only in truth, the lords will abandon their thrones. And the unkindled will rise. Nameless, accursed undead, unfit even to be Cinder. And so it is that ash seeketh embers.
Hello and welcome to Dark Souls 3. Today we are starting a brand new journey. This time not Dark Souls 2, but Dark Souls 3. And if you don't know what the series is about, it's about level design and world design. So I'm going through these levels and try and analyze them. Come up with things to say about the level and world design, and I'm going to almost rate them basically, like how I find them. Do I like them? Do I dislike them? Whatever. What would I change? Things like these. And I started with the night class. This doesn't matter. Soon enough I'm going to have I'm using cheat engine for this. Like I'm not literally playing through the game, I'm just showcasing the game. So be warned, no skilled gameplay here. Alright, so let's start. We are in the Cemetery of Ash, and in the usual Dark Souls fashion, we're just getting thrown into the game. And nothing changes here, we are in the tutorial area. And I really like how the tutorial is being shown here. They basically, in the Dark Souls series, if you have never played one of these games before, and first of all, what are you doing on this channel? I'm way too small for that, for you to discover me like that. But if you don't know how it works, you can write down messages that look just like these, and you have phrases already made, and you have to pick these phrases to convey the message that you want to write down. So you can't just type it yourself, you have to use pre-made messages basically. And this is also how From Software does their tutorial instructions here, like how to control the camera or how to attack enemies, just the basic stuff. If you already know this stuff from like previous games, if you're familiar with From Software games, then you already know most of it. Sometimes there might be some slight changes, like they add a new mechanic or not, whatever, or they take some away. In the case of Dark Souls 2 to Dark Souls 3, I think they took away the ability to dual wield certain weapons. I don't think there's no dual wield in this game. Like they removed the stance feature, for example. But yeah, fairly standard stuff. This game also plays a lot quicker than Dark Souls 2 or Dark Souls 1, for that matter. As you can see, it's much more fluid. Combat is much quicker. Maybe not with these enemies, they're still fairly slow, but already you can see they have some fairly quick attacks that also cover a lot of ground. So let's see if the controls are to my liking right now. And let's have a look at this tutorial area first, because, well, that's what I'm going to do in this first episode, I guess. Just have a look at the tutorial area, and then the next episode will start with the Wall of Lothric. High Wall of Lothric, I think it's called. So we start off in this grave, and by the way, I'm not really talking about the lore. Not like I'm not a lore channel. I don't really know that much about the lore. And I'm mixing up things and I'm misremembering things like that, so no lore talk here, at least not for the majority. But we start off here, and the level design, or the looks of the level, first of all, the world design looks like it looks amazing. If you come from Dark Souls 2, if you come from, well, I think Bloodborne was in between here, right? Between Dark Souls 2 and 3, there was Bloodborne. It looks amazing. Like, compared to Dark Souls 2, there are worlds in between these graphics. To Bloodborne, maybe not that much. What I must say though, everything looks a bit too shiny. Maybe not everything, but a lot of things look way too shiny. And this is something that you just have to deal with. Of course, there are some textures that look just muddy, like these leaves here, but for the most part it's fine. Like the overall atmosphere and build looks amazing. But where are we? Cemetery of Ash. Like, we're on a cemetery. And of course we were buried here, and now, as you could see in the cutscene, like, we just are now alive. Because the bell rang. And we also, now that I think of it, in Dark Souls 1 and 2 we had to acquire our Estus Flask from either Oscar or the Emerald Herald. And in this game we already have the Estus Flask. But what we get is the Ashen Estus Flask, like after the first 2 enemies. We already have a new feature, because usually there is a health and a stamina bar. But now, in between these 2 bars, there is a new bar, a blue one. I think they call it FP, basically mana, focus points in this game. So they got rid of the charge mechanic for the spells, which is good and bad. I really like the charge mechanic, but I can see why mana or FP can be better, because we not only have spells that use up FP, we also have now a new mechanic for every weapon, which is I think they're called weapon art in this game, right? Ash of War in Elden Ring and weapon art in this game, yeah. So if you two-hand your weapon, or if you have a shield that allows you to use your weapon art, in this case this shield parries, so this is not a weapon art shield, this is a parry shield, but if we two-hand our weapon, the left trigger becomes active for the weapon, and we now have a stance. While in the stance, we can use 2 attacks, which is R1, an uppercut, and R2, which is this weird rush attack. And as you can see, these used up FP. And in previous games, when you had special moves like these, they would use up durability. And this is something that I like. I mean, this change is something that I like, because I'm not a fan of durability in the Souls games, and I'm fairly happy they got rid of that in Elden Ring, but I can deal with using up FP. I mean, it's supposed to be limited, like you're not supposed to spam your weapon art without any downsides. So the downside is it uses up FP, which is fair, I guess. And then we also have the Ashen Estus Flask, which is basically the same thing, just for stamina. Or not for stamina, holy shit. It's the same thing for FP, of course. I'm a bit tired, I guess. But let's keep going. So far we had one split here in the road. Because this is the obvious path, we go the not so obvious path. Go over here, and I've already picked it up for some reason, like I'm brain dead, I don't know. We got just a soul, like a small reward, teaching you might want to go other ways, right? You might want to go there or here for extra stuff. And we can also already see this cave entrance there, and this might foreshadow something way later on. But let's keep going. Usually you're not even noticing that is a cave. Like, it maybe looks like a weird crater or something, but usually you don't think of it that much. And we can already see some kind of structure here, but right now we can't really see what kind of structure that is, but there's certainly something. I can't lift our camera that high up, or we can't look up there quite yet. So, main path, we have a few other paths. We're getting shot at by a crossbowman, and it's interesting to me that they're using fire arrows, because we're currently, I don't know if this is still a mechanic. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at our fire resistance and at our lightning resistance. I wonder if this counts as being drenched, like rolling in this puddle. If it counts, it's not being shown here, which is unfortunate. But usually in these games, when you're wet, you're taking less fire damage, and when you're wet, you also take more lightning damage. So it's a trade-off. And Dark Souls 2, they implemented mechanics like these a lot. In this game, maybe not so much. But nonetheless, I wonder why they use fire bolts for this one, not just regular bolts. Maybe it's so you can see the projectile better, because, well, it's a flaming bolt coming at you. So it's easier to see, so you can dodge it easier. Might be the case. Or maybe it's just there to show you. See, we have other damage types than just physical. Maybe it's also there to teach the player that, well, the shield might, like, if you chose this class, that your shield blocks is capable of blocking physical attacks, no problem. Like these. Oh, right. They can't be attacked, I forgot. But you can block physical attacks, but then your health goes down when you block one of these firebolts. Other than that, we have a few dual enemy situations here. And then again, a path going to the right, and this looks like the main path. There's light coming from this side. There's no light coming from this side. Now we can see this building a bit more. It's a enormous bridge-looking thing, castle-y, kind of weird, very high up thingy. But let's go this way. Maybe it leads into this building. Maybe there's something nice there. And we're going through. We see this message: "Turn back." Oh, there might be something difficult over here. So this is where the game tries to teach you that you can possibly take other roads or come back later. Like, it definitely tells you there's going to be a challenge here, and we can already see the challenge, this blue-gray thing over there, which is a new type of crystal lizard. Isn't that nice? Now we have big mutated crystal lizards that fight back instead of just running away. And it looks amazing. I really like this enemy type. It looks pretty cool. I like that they have different types of crystal lizards in this game. I think there are like 3 different species. But yeah, if you're new to this game, this might be a bit hard. But if you're like, if you know what you're doing, if you've played this before, or if you've played Elden Ring or something, like, this shouldn't be that big of a challenge. I need to remind myself to put in some like infinite FP and stamina for the next episode. Maybe I should take feedback from the enemies next time. Maybe just kept the HP bar or something, I don't know. What I would like to have is maybe an invisibility cheat or something, so that I can have a look at their positioning better without them wailing at me. That would be nice. So fairly standard stuff so far. 2 secret passages, or not secret, but 2 branches off of the path. And now we're going straight forward. What does it say? Change weapon? Yeah, just more tutorial stuff. And this is something that, like, Dark Souls likes a lot. Like, we have castle structure there. Everything is like, this is something about the Souls series that it's always kind of weird to me, because everything is always very, very high up. Like, here we have this castle thing. Look how enormous this thing is. imagine how long it would take to build this thing. Look how big it is, like, holy shit. And then it goes into this white abyss this time. In Dark Souls 2 they like to use a lot of black darkness, and in this case we have like these clouds, I guess. Not even clouds, this is just fog. The clouds are even higher up, I guess. And isn't this a nice shot? Like, it looks like a painting. If I would just make a photo here, I could hang it up on my wall. It looks amazing, except the grass in the foreground here, but I don't care about the grass. It's just an amazing looking game. So, let's keep going. And I guess I need to talk about this a bit more here, about the world design, because we have a lot of graves. They really like to do this. If you've played Bloodborne, for example, if there's something reminiscent of a graveyard or somewhere where a lot of death happens, like, they put tombstones everywhere. They stack them onto each other, they put them next to each other, like like this, for example. It's quite extreme, and I honestly don't know if places like these exist in real life, where you just see tombstone next to tombstone next to tombstone. Not just like a normal cemetery or graveyard where they're evenly spaced, like they have space for the dead. In this case, we just have tombstone, 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 then probably behind that a mass grave or something, because not underneath each tombstone there can't be a corpse here, right? So it's kind of weird how they do things here. Look at that. And you're wondering, like, is this something where I can is this an area that I can explore? And to some extent, yes. But most of it, no, you can't explore most of it, which is fine. Let's keep going. Because here the enemy density becomes a bit like denser. And also these enemies take now 2 hits. It's still a tutorial area, but it's getting, the difficulty is rising a little bit. Not much, just a tiny bit, to show you what this game has to offer, I guess. We have like a few more hidden paths. Here we even have enemies that work together somewhat. We have a ranged enemy in the background and a very defensive one in the foreground. And we see this in this game a lot. You've heard that big thumb sound there, right? And this is, I think, also a new mechanic. I'm kind of unsure what exactly it is. Might be a critical hit or something. Let's see. No, I can't parry these because they have no, like, I have no hitbox. But it's definitely a crit sound, like this thumb attack. Like, let's have a look at, because this is a mechanic that I right now not really understand. Like, if we have a look at this long sword, at the middle column we have physical, magic, fire, lightning, dark, critical. Critical number means just backstab and riposts. So if you backstab an enemy, this is your multiplier. If you parry someone and riposte them, this is your multiplier. That thumb sound that we just heard where I just kicked away the shield and that just hit the enemy normally without riposting, that was... How do you call that in this game? I would call it a critical hit. And the other thing is a backstab or riposte for me, but... What exactly is that terminology? I would like to know that. Because it also sometimes happens if... You know, it happens if the enemy is in a staggered state and you hit it or hit the enemy without without riposting or doing the official critical attack animation, like backstab or whatever. So this is clearly a new arena, or not a new arena, this is clearly a arena. This is our adversary, but he's not attacking us. They're quite nice. You can prepare yourself. You have to remove the sword in order to fight this one. And if you're trying to leave, you will notice you can't. Unfortunate. So prepare yourself for this fight. But before that, let's have a look at this area, because it was certainly something, right? It's in ruins now, but we can have a look at what it was before. And it looks like a circle, first of all. Maybe some sort of Colosseum-ish area. Why do I think that? First of all, we have these... It kind of looks that way, but... do I have binoculars? No, I don't. I would like to see what's on these walls. These walls are made out of tombstone, so maybe it's not a Colosseum-esque thing. Maybe these are just catacombs. And look, we even have a big coffin for giants. Is this Yorm's coffin, or was this Aldrich's coffin? No, Aldrich's coffin is in the cathedral. Yeah, what was this building? Who knows? I have no idea. Maybe you have some ideas. Write it down into the comments. But it's certainly... Maybe it's supposed to be some kind of arena. Maybe it is a literal arena on a cemetery. I mean, right now it is. But maybe I want to find out the purpose of this area, right? And this is what I do. I like to think about these things. Here we have definitely our first enemies. And he has this weird... or first boss. And he has this weird growth on his back. And if we get him down enough, his HP low enough, he transforms into that thing. And this looks so weird. Supposed to be, or I think it's called Pass-Off Man. But I don't know what this is supposed to be. Some sort of weird growth. Has it to do something with the Abyss? I don't know. And also, like, first of all, it doesn't really have a physical or a default physical form. Like, it's constantly transforming and mutating and stuff like that. Like, it's ever changing. But it also has these weird growths. Like on the right, on the left side there, you can see these horn-like structures. Which is, it's just very weird. And it's gone again. Like, it certainly looks very, very weird. New mechanic. I'm going to talk about that later. But the I think it's called Pass of Man, right? So probably has something to do with the Dark Soul or with humankind in general. But it's a very strange mechanic. This is obviously the first time we see something like this. Or maybe not necessarily, because in Dark Souls 1's DLC, we saw like the townspeople being transformed into these weird twisted beings, and this might be something similar to that. I mean, it would work, like same red eyes and this weird claw-like thing. That might be something similar. Let's finally rest at the bonfire so we get our gesture, the rest gesture. But yeah, now that we've beaten a boss, you see our character looks slightly different. Because we have this fiery or embery effect on us, and this is what it's called. It's called like we are in the ember mode, or we are embered. And ember is this game's equivalent to humanity. But not only like what are the benefits of ember? Like Dark Souls 2's benefit was that first of all you're not looking ugly, and second of all you have maximum HP. Like you're getting punished by being dead. In this game it's a bit different, because it's not punishing you when you die, but it's rewarding you for either using a ember or beating a boss and obtaining the embered mode, because it's increasing your HP, which is quite the nice twist. We are also no longer undead, we are a kindled one, which is technically a form of undeath. And I guess no, we are still undead, like we have the dark sign, but we'll never look undead. Not necessarily, but in the default mode we are no longer looking like a dried piece of bacon, or in Dark Souls 2 case like a dried and rotten piece of bacon. Well, let's keep going. We can finally open up this gate. Get another small reward here, what you can call a reward. We get a broken straight sword. Wow. Nice. Open menu. Yeah, I want to equip that thing. Woohoo. Wow. Probably, like, it's not a broken straight sword. This is some kind of short sword. A very short sword, because if you compare the length of the hilt, is it called the hilt? The thing that you grip. Yeah, this one you can easily grip with 2 hands. But this one, like, it's way too short. Like, you can fit a hand on there, definitely. But it's like more like a bit of an awkward grip, because you're also gripping the pommel. So, off the beaten path, enemy here. Let's hear the thumb sound again. Ah shit, no, keep blocking. Keep blocking. I really like that sound. I mean, I could have riposted him, like I can do it with the next one, because there's another shield dude, but I really like that thumb sound. They really did a great sound design with that one. I really like that sound. It's so satisfying. And I mean, you deal also extra damage, so it's not just for show. So this one I'm going to riposte. And also great sound design. You have this... hard to describe what kind of sound it is, but you have this metallic sound there. And I guess this is one of their... This is like a fun part. Like you can either kick them down or... like, whoa! or backstab them down there. And there we have the entrance to the weird building with the bell that woke us up. But we also have a path to the left and to the right, so you already know what we are doing here. Yes, we are doing exactly what the game doesn't want us to do. Or maybe it does. Here we are greeted by the probably worst enemy of the game. Because these dogs are teleporting, they're cheating. And there are a few channels that made videos about this mechanic. But they're literally teleporting behind us. Maybe not now. But I don't know what the mechanic is like. It's just a side effect of another mechanic, I guess, but there are, if you're running away from them, they sometimes plop up on your, like on the lower half of your screen, so that they're right behind you. And it's not pleasant. Here we are getting our first Ember. Boosting HP until death, yeah. Pretty nice. I really like this shift where you're no longer getting punished for dying. Not more than necessary. You're still losing all your souls and you have to retrieve them. And you're losing your Embered mode. But your maximum HP are no longer decreasing. Like, it's not going lower than your unembered maximum HP. That's what I mean. And we're still not going in there because there's another path here. And there's a dude. Someone is standing there, maybe a friendly NPC, that would be nice. Oh, we get a useless shield here, and these dudes don't like when we take their stuff, so they attack us. Let's go this way first. We're very close to this building now. Ooh, more Ember. What's over here? Like we have a Homeward Bone, which we can use to teleport back to the most recent bonfire, or that bonfire in here once we unlock it. And let's see what this nice NPC has to do. And the funny thing is, this NPC probably killed more players than like the boss we just fought there, because this one is a real boss. Not really, but he probably killed about as much. Because this is sadly not a friendly NPC, this is an enemy, a weird enemy. Like a katana dude with rags as clothing. If you can even call that clothing. He has also, even though he's not wearing anything substantially, he has quite a lot of defense. And I've already talked about the stances. His Uchigatana also has one of these stances, and this is one of their moves. And the other move is a parry. So that's that. Let's see if I can trigger his attempt to parry me before he dies. Yeah, that was a parry move there. But yeah, let's get rid of him and get his weapon. Because it must be good, right? Of course it's called the Master's Attire. Quite ironical, right? A terribly worn shirt. Yeah. Master's Attire, sure. Sure. Let's have a look at the katana. Requires dexterity. I don't have that yet. We'll come to that. Next episode I will have much better stats, I guess. Because I also want to showcase in this game, I want to showcase some more magic. Because I guess it's part of the game and I didn't do that in the previous ones. Kinda It's kind of lame. I think I'm going to use more matting in this game just to showcase it. I mean, I sadly have no reference point to the other episodes, to the other games, but because I didn't use it there, but I'm definitely doing that now. So let's recap before we go in there what we just walked through. Well, game design wise, this was the tutorial area, right? The boss over here, like Udic Skandir, you couldn't, oh no, you could see it. I should really just where is it in this game? Where can you remove the HUD in this game? There. Nice. Like the tutorial area basically ended with the destruction or with the victory over Udic Skandir. This game's final what do I want to say? Basically your goal in the tutorial. And previous games, like not in previous games, in Dark Souls 2 you had no boss, no mandatory boss. In Dark Souls 1 you had the Asylum Demon, which is much easier, but also a great introduction to that game's mechanics. Yeah, and when we think back to Demon Souls, in Demon Souls you have the Vanguard Demon, I think it's called, this fat dude where the Asylum Demon is referenced from, and you had to die eventually. If you kill him, you die to another bigger boss, but in this game you had to fight your final boss, I guess, again. Your tutorial boss, I mean. In this area, like in Dark Souls 2 we had no Firelink Shrine, and Firelink Shrine was iconic in Dark Souls 1, so fan service, but the good kind of fan service, because Firelink Shrine Dark Souls 1 was destroyed, and this one, while already looking a bit rough, it's functioning. Like, it's a complete building. There are no gaps in the roof, at least no major gaps in the roof, and it looks still nice. What's kind of weird is that we have these thrones in here, and they're, I guess, more symbolic thrones, because like we still have one dude to link the fire, I guess, but these are basically resembling your trophies, your progression, but like you wouldn't place someone here, right? Like, these are no thrones where they expect these individuals to sit upon. Like, he's doing it for the sakes, like, I guess I have to dabble a bit into the lore here, but from the introductory cutscene we get the idea that these are all Lords of Cinders, which means they linked the fire at some point in the timeline of this game. So they already linked the fire, and now apparently there was no one who wanted to link the fire, and someone, the world, whatever, said like, oh shit, we need to link the fire, ring the bell, come on, ring the bell, some of you Lords of Cinder, like, go, you link the fire again, because there was no new lord, so the old lords have to do it. And they said, nah, I don't wanna. So the game basically said, like, okay, when there is no new lord and the old lords don't want to light the fire, then Take this dude. Take some, like, these idiots that are just useless whatevers, and let them retrieve the like, let them become whatever, the new lord. Let them collect it. I mean, at some point, eventually, someone is going to be strong enough, right? I guess that's basically the story of the game, as I understand it. And now we have to collect every one of these 5, or technically 4, because this idiot over there, like, he's doing that on his own regard. Like, he's not fleeing, he's whatever. His soul is too weak. He can't link the fire by himself, but he accepts it. Like, he's fine with it. But yeah, this is our Firekeeper, our Emerald Herald, or our Maiden in Black from Demon's Souls. In Dark Souls 1 we had none of these NPCs, like there was no Firekeeper that we used to level up. I mean, in Dark Souls 1 there was a Firekeeper tending to the fire of the Firelink Shrine, just like this one. But in this game, again, you have to talk to an NPC in order to level up, and this is a mechanic that I like the theme of that, but the fact that you're not just able to level up from every single bonfire in the entire world is a bit of a downside. It's a downer to me, because that forces you to return to this place if you just want to level up. It forces you to go through a cutscene to get here, and then through another, or not cutscene, through a loading screen to get here, and another loading screen to get out, and that is a bit ugh. But let's talk to her.
Welcome to the bonfire, unkindled one.
Thank you.
I am a firekeeper. I tend to the flame and tend to thee. The lords have left their thrones and must be delivered to them. To this end, I am at thy side.
Understood.
Very well. Then touch the darkness within me.
And now a bit more of fan service.
Take nourishment from these sovereignless souls.
Do you hear that? Or chant.
Farewell, may the...
If you're not familiar with that chant, and I'm quite frankly not as familiar with the chant, because I've played through Demon's Souls once when it already was off the internet. Like, I was very late to the party. Like, I haven't like, I'm not a console gamer, so there was no PS3 for me back in the day, and there was no Demon's Souls for me back in the day. I just, like, 5 years or 6 years ago I've played through that game, I think. Maybe even later than that. But let me quickly... where is it? There. I think it might be our voice, or... let's see if it's her, if it's voice.
Ashen Perdue.
Ooh, that is loud, holy shit.
Very well, then touch take none.
I just want to hear the chant.
Let these souls withdrawn from their vessels, manifestations of disparity, elucidated by fire, burrow deep within me, retreating to a darkness beyond the reach of flame. Let them assume a new master, inhabiting ash, casting themselves upon new forms. Let these souls withdrawn. Farewell, Ashen.
Ah, so loud. But yeah, I'm not really sure, like, I'm not familiar with the chant of the main in black, but this is definitely a altered version of that chant. I'm pretty sure like the first few verses are the same. But yeah, Firekeeper. Nice and not so nice, because we have to go to her for leveling up. The rest is good. Then we have the Firekeeper from Dark Souls 2, at least one of these idiots.
A pleasure to make thine acquaintance, Ashen One. I am but a humble handmaid of the shrine. Weapons, armor, trinkets, and spells. I've lots of little things to ease the burden of a weary traveler. And yes, I'm undead too, but not so charitable as to give my goods away. Ashen One, fetch souls and bring them to me. As is thy wont, no?
Of course, she still likes to laugh. But yeah, we can buy stuff here. Great.
Ashen One.
Ashen One. And then, like, we have Dark Souls 1 sitting over here. Andre of Astora.
Well, a newcomer, I see. I am Andre. I serve at this shrine as a humble smith, forging weapons. You're in search of the Lords of Cinder, I trust? A toilsome journey, I'd wager. You'll require good arms. Let me smith you weapons.
Isn't it nice how his mouth is moving? But yeah, here we have Blacksmith Andre.
Be careful. I don't want to see my work squandered.
That was a wrong dialogue. Isn't he supposed to say, I don't want to see you go hollow or something? At least in Dark Souls 1. But here we have Andre from Dark Souls 1. Here we have a kind of funny demoted Firekeeper. Like, she lost her job from Dark Souls 2. She got fired and is now a merchant. And then here we have the Firekeeper from Dark Souls 3, of course. Kind of funny, like Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3. And then of course, every Souls game, and Demon Souls I guess, has their crestfallen knight offering advice and being very, very cynical about everything.
Ah, another one roused from the sleep of death. Well, you're not alone. We unkindled are worthless. Can't even die right. Gives me conniptions. And would have us seek the Lords of Cinder and return them to their moulding thrones. But we are talking true legends with the metal to link the fire. We're not fit to lick their boots.
Maybe you're not.
Don't you think? What a sick joke. Asking us to seek the Lords of Cinder, and we're talking true legend.
Okay, dude. Whatever. And if you've played Dark Souls 1, then please answer this truthfully. Were you lost in this big area when you first played this game? Like, I was very lost in the Firelink Shrine. Like, getting out of here again, even though it seems so easy, like, you came from here, you're going in here, you go up or down the staircase, fairly easy, so should be fairly simple, right? But it kinda was like half a maze for me the first time. Then we have a staircase here, which is completely pointless. I guess there's a message here. Ooh, the bonfire will deliver thee to Lothric. A message because people didn't couldn't find the way out of here. Like, where do I go next? Was hard to figure out, I guess. Then we have another path over here. Let's see where this one leads to. Oh, here we have an outside Dark Souls 2 thing where we have this tree, a giant tree, and we can get a seed of a tree of giants over here. Then there is another path for later over here. It's a locked door, another soul, this strange tree that probably was placed here on purpose, maybe unofficially, but what you can do is, if you're not as rusty as me, or as I am right now, you can run up here and jump onto that roof and keep going here, but time for later. Yeah, this is the Firelink Shrine so far. We can explore the rest of the area. Oh, I forgot, I need to talk to another NPC as well. But what we need is this key here, the tower key, to access the tower. We can't do that quite yet, we don't have enough souls for that. And the last NPC that we have to talk to is that one. Quite the unimpressive one, to be honest. And he's missing his legs. Is he missing his legs? Or maybe he's just sitting on his... let's see. Let's see, other leg. I wonder now. It looks gone. Like the legs look like they're gone. But I was wondering, like maybe he's sitting on his shins, maybe. It doesn't look like it though.
Thou art unkindled, and a seeker of lords.
Yes.
I am Ludleth of Corland. Look not in bewilderment as I say. I linked the fire long ago, becoming the Lord of Cinder.
Okay.
If substantiation be thy want, set thine eyes upon my charred corpse. This sad cadaver. No need to be coy. Have a closer look. Knowest thou of our purpose? 5 thrones will take 5 lords as kindling for the linking of the fire. The fast fading flame must be licked to preserve this world. A reenactment of the first linking of the fire. So it is, I became a lord of Cinder. I may be but small, but I will die a colossus. Knowest thou, I may...
Alright.
Now.
He's going to be important later on. Not now though. Now he's just an NPC. And what I already like about this, I guess this is a spoiler here, usually the Crestfallen Knight has no questline. In Dark Souls 2, the Crestfallen one had no questline at all, and in Dark Souls 1 they had like, their questline was they become hollow at some point, which is not a questline. But this one has a questline, isn't that amazing? But later, like, we'll discover that way later on. But yeah, this is the Firelink Shrine. So I should talk about this area here a bit more, about the world design. It's supposed to be a shrine, which is a place of worship, so that's why there are no living quarters here or something. It's a shrine. Quite the disconnected shrine, might I add, right? If we have a look outside, like we are on a cliff. Like this whole thing is on a cliff. So the only way of getting here is through that path. There is nothing behind this building. There's just like there's nothing. It's a cliff. So that's the only way where people can come from, but there is no connection to that castle. I mean, it's very close to that castle, but as we've seen before, there is no path leading here. Not necessarily. Like, we have this one cave that we don't know. We don't know that it's a cave yet. Like, there's no. For us, there is no connection there. It was barely even visible, right? So seemingly no connection to that castle or any other place, which is weird. So you would think there is some kind of connection to something, because we have a cemetery here. So which path did they take to bring corpses here? Maybe we'll discover that later on, but this is a big mystery for now. But looking at that shrine, Firelink Shrine, it's kind of weird that we have exactly five thrones. So I guess up to this point in time, there were 5 Lords of Cinder, or like the fire got linked technically 6 times, at least, because we got Gwyn first, right? We played Dark Souls 1. Or maybe not. Or I guess this kingdom survived 5 linking of fires, and now it's being threatened to be destroyed. Now they're just shitting us out, basically to retrieve the previous lords, to maybe prolong the fire once more, a sixth time. Kind of hard to pronounce that. But yeah, it's still kind of strange. What would they have done if they were a 6th person? Like, imagine there are 6 dudes who link the fire. Where are they building another throne for them as well? Where does it go? Or do they have to rebuild this whole area again? I guess up there fits another throne. Like, technically you can try and push this a bit to the side, so you fit another throne there. Like, they're not thinking ahead. What happens if there's another lord? Like, where's the next one going? But oh well. Yeah, rest of this area kind of empty. We only have candles here. Like, we have a bunch of candles, and I guess who's tending to these candles? Some have gone out, I guess. I guess she's doing that. It's her job. But yeah, not much else here to say about, right? We have a few more tombstones, a lot of roots, some water damage here, some puddles there. Still looks very grave-like or tomb-like, I guess, with these whatever they're called, where you technically can lay bodies here and stuff. So it still has this cemetery vibe. That it's also a place of death, or peaceful death in that matter, but also a shrine to honor the lords, I guess. It's not really a shrine where you pray to these entities, but it's where you honor their sacrifices, I guess, would be my understanding of this place. But yeah, the only thing that I have to... Maybe there was another story. I don't know why there's a window here where just drops you down. It's kind of unsafe, to be honest. No one could hurt themselves. But other than that, it's just... It's a very, very fancy shrine. I'm definitely going to talk about this area later on when we when we fill up the shrine a bit more with NPCs. Like when it's being a bit more populated, then we can talk about this area a bit more. But I've already talked long enough, I guess. So I see you in the next episode, where we will visit the high wall of Lothric. So you can already see or look towards that, I guess. And I definitely need to keep up with the work here, because that was very sloppy today, I must say. But so it is, I'm still learning making these videos, packing more information into them with less downside. But yeah, it was the first episode, more to come, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.